What is going on, my Houston Texans family? Hope you're all are having a blessed Monday, a victory Monday. The Houston Texans, they barely beat the Tennessee Titans. They complete the sweep on the year, but 16-13 was the final score. I first want to thank everyone who was a part of the watch party at the Bombshells location in Pearland. We had two former Houston Texans there. We had Amobi Okoye and we had Robert Nelson. Remember him? He was also in attendance. We had the one of the best tailgating crews there, the Lone Star Trailgaters. It was a scene, man. So I want to thank everyone who came. DJ Boom was laying some great music. But let's talk about this game because this game was stressful. It came down to the very end. But the Houston Texans, they're at 500, 0-0. I can't wait to discuss this more. This episode is brought to you and powered by Sleeper. The NFL season is here, which now means you have a chance to 1,000 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Football has never been more exciting than it is now with players like CJ Stroud, Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Jefferson. Pick on stats for these stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to a 1,000 times payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right and you could win big. Use promo code 713HOU and you get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and condition apply. Sleeper is also doing something fantastic. Free $20 entry. Just type in 713HOU. And we were 3 out of the 4 on the slip for the game, guys. So we'll do one for this Thursday night against the Buffalo Bills. I cannot wait. I will be at that game. I will be tailgating. So let me know if you're going to be there in the comments down below. But the Houston Texans, they get back-to-back wins with Davis Mills as their starting quarterback. Let's discuss this game. Davis Mills, 26 of 41, 274 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked 4 times, a quarterback rating of 90.9. I think Davis Mills did okay today. I think there was some moments that weren't positive for Davis Mills, but when you look at the multiple third and longs that he overcame, right? The clutch one was a 3rd and 16 to Nico Collins on the sideline. Great throw, better catch, 2 feet in. We'll have a conversation about Nico Collins in a second. But Davis Mills, he did enough to get you a win, and that's exactly what you want to see from your backup quarterback. So shout out Davis Mills. I think these last 2 games, um, if I would grade him, I'll give it a B. He had an insane comeback against the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? Giving a little bit of hope to the Houston Texans season. And then, boom, gets a win here, even though he was a hard win, a tough fought win. Shout out to Davis Mills. Mills Mafia stand up. We understand why he's one of the highest paid backup quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, going forward with this game, the offensive line, I think it took a step back. There were moments where both Ariante Ursary and Trent Brown got beat. Um, it was inconsistent, which is kind of disappointing because last week Ariante Ursary had a damn good game against Josh Hines Allen, and Trent Brown played well to where we were like, hey man, where has this been all year? Now they also had their moments as well, but I would say the offensive line, it took a step back. I mean, taking 4 sacks, that's not good. And this is against a Tennessee Titans pretty good front four. They had Jeffrey Simmons out there. He had a sack. Um, in terms of running the football, the offensive line, it had problems. Woody Marks, 18 of 44, 2.4 yards a carry. Nick Chubb, 3 carries, 17 yards, 5.7 yards a carry. Davis Mills, 2 rushes for 14 yards. As the game went on, though, right, as the Texans were setting up for the game-winning field goal, you started to see the offensive line win their matchups. You started to see Woody Marcus get to the second level quite easier. So I would say, it took all of those 18 attempts to get you those 44 yards. It was a tough 44 for Woody Marks. He was the only part of our parlay that did not cash. I had him Had him getting a touchdown, but hit on everything else. In terms of receiving, Nico Collins, 10 targets, 9 receptions, 92 yards, 1 touchdown. There was that big play on, 3rd and 16. He gets 18. There were multiple third downs where Nico Collins, converted. That's what you want to see from number 12. The last 2 games for Nico Collins have been fantastic. You see what type of numbers you get when you heavily target Nico? I mean, he was throwing those. I'm sorry, he wasn't throwing those, but he was getting those jump balls. He had a touchdown. Great throw by Davis Mills right over the linebacker. He had enough zip on it to get it right before the defender could get it. And then Nico Collins, great hands there. This is wide receiver one type stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And you're hoping on Thursday Night Football against Buffalo Bills, CJ Stroud, if he is ready to go, because there's a report that we still don't know yet, Nico Collins needs to be heavily involved in the game on Thursday. Jaden Higgins, 7 targets, 4 receptions, 55 yards. The rookie is slowly having a quietly good season. I mean, 50 yards here, 50 yards there, a touchdown last week against Jacksonville. Jaden Higgins, who was the talk of OTAs, was the talk of minicamp. I would say he has lived up to, the hype. He is playing like a number 2 wide receiver and has been playing like a number 2 wide receiver the last couple of weeks. I mean, that play on the sideline, great throw by Davis Mills. I really wanted them to give Jaden Higgins the touchdown. Unfortunately, they mark him right down at the 2. Goes to Nico. Dalton Schultz, 9 targets, 6 catches, 51 yards. Dalton Schultz, man, this is a contract year for him. And if I'm the Houston Texans, I really am thinking about giving that extension out there because Dalton Schultz is one of the reasons why you are 500. He has been your most consistent piece on offense. You would not be here right now if it wasn't for Dalton Schultz. And he is quietly having a damn good year. Continues to, come up big for the Houston Texans with his receptions. Xavier Hutchinson, a solid day, 3 receptions off of 5 targets, 42 yards. I think Xavier Hutchinson has carved a rollout for himself, guys. I don't think he could be a wide receiver 1. I don't think he can be a wide receiver 2. But for sure, Xavier Hutchinson, I think, has solidified a role for himself as a wide receiver 3 for this Houston Texans team going forward. Shout out to Xavier Hutchinson. Big plays were made. I mean, 14 yards a catch. You can't argue with that. Jalen Noel, 1 catch, 12 yards. I love Jalen Noel. I wish we give him more opportunities, which is why when I see Christian Kirk, 4 targets, 1 catch, 6 yards, I would rather see those 4 targets go to Jalen Noel. And, we're stuck at 6 targets in total. I'm sorry, 5 targets in total for Jalen Noel. I don't want to see Christian Kirk involved on this offense anymore. I understand he's a vet, but he is having his worst season of his career. And I think that it's actually doing the Texan offense a disservice, him being out there, because it's taking away reps from Jalen Noel. Dare, 1 catch, 9 yards. Woody, 1 catch, 7 yards. You want to see more targets for Woody Marks, but, nonetheless, the offense, they did just enough. I mean, just enough to get you a game-winning field goal by Matt Wright. And my confidence in Matt Wright, man, after that first doink, I was scared on every single one of his field goal attempts. But Texans get a flag on that play, so it doesn't exist. He went 3 of 3 on field goals. Longest was 43. And shout out to Matt Wright. He's, I think it was an announcer who brought up that he carved himself a role as someone who, yeah, I'm not going to be here for the future. I'm going to be here for 1 to 4 games, and I'm just going to make kicks and go somewhere else and do that. So shout out to Matt Wright. Overall, guys, the offense, it struggled today. It really did. I know a lot of fans wanted, you know, 20 plus points. There were still some problems right in the first drive. You're at the goal line. You just can't get it in. You run a play action. I don't mind the play action call there by Nick Caley. Woody Marks misses up on a block. Davis Mills sack, turnover on downs. For a huge majority of this game, Tennessee, they had the momentum. They did. So give the entire offense performance a C. They need to get it going against Buffalo on Thursday. On the defensive side, I mean, 13 points, I'm not mad at that. However, they did allow 0 last time. It seemed like this defense got going in the second half, right? So I don't know if they were just lollygagging or lackadaisical in the first and second quarter, but in quarters 3 and 4, I mean, it was over for Tennessee. Cam Ward, 24-37, 194 yards. So the Texans continue that streak of quarterbacks not throwing over 200 yards against them. One touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked 3 times. Cam Ward also rushed the ball 3 times for 33 yards. He had a big 20-yard run late in the game. He also had a great throw late in the game. I think it was another 3rd and 16, and the Tennessee Titans wide receiver gets a step over Kamari Lassiter. Big play by them, which sets up the touchdown. Tony Pollard, 10 attempts, 22 yards. The Tennessee Titans cannot run the football today. No team has been able to effectively run the football against the Houston Texans besides the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And it was hard for Tennessee to move the ball on the ground. Through the air, they were finding success. They were dinking and dunking. They were using Cam Ward's mobility, and we were worried. Go back and look at chat. You had already people say, "Damn, the Houston Texans might choke and blow this game." Their leading receiver was their tight end, Okonkwo, or 3 catches, 56 yards. Tajay Spears, 5 catches, 31 yards. Tight end Gunnar Helm, 4 catches, 29 yards. No receiver got over 60 yards. A lot of different people caught passes from Cam Ward. These sacks, though, I think came up huge. Will Anderson Jr., he's building a case, ladies and gentlemen. He is building a case for defensive player of the year, not only a sack, but a forced fumble, 2 tackles for loss. And I think he has a streak right now of 5 sacks in a row. A sack a game is what Will Anderson is giving you. And when you look at the stat sheet, it's creeping up there to double digits. Dude, Will Anderson Jr. is exactly what you thought he was going to be since drafting him from Alabama. He is the Terminator. He's going to be one of the highest paid edges in the NFL, and he's only getting better. Danielle Hunter, right? We asked him to follow up. We asked him to follow up his Defensive Player of the Week award after getting 3.5 sacks against Jacksonville. 1.5 sacks against the Tennessee Titans. So Danielle Hunter, ladies and gentlemen, he's getting going. He's firing at all cylinders. And this is scary because the Houston Texans edge rushing duo was one of the reasons why the Texans won this football game, just wreaking havoc. Danielle Hunter also gave you a tackle for loss. These two are one of the best edge rushing duos in the NFL, if not the best. I dare you to find me another. Now, who split on the sack with Danielle Hunter? Well, that's Tommy Togai. And Tommy Togiai, I'm sorry, he deserves so much praise for what he has been doing this season. I think there is a role and a future of Tommy Togai on the Houston Texans. This feels like you find a diamond in the rough. You just picked him up, and now he is just playing just fantastic football for you. He's becoming a fan favorite. He had 3 total tackles, 2 of them solo. He had a pass breakup, and then, that sack share with Danielle Hunter. Tommy Togai, man, he's making a name for himself. EJ Speed had a pass breakup, a huge pass breakup on 3rd down late in the game. Cornerback Miles Bryant was your leading tackler. Aziz Al-Shaair, 6 tackles. Kalen Bullock, 6 tackles. Derek Stingley, 1 pass breakup. Kamari Lassiter, Tim Settle, pass breakups. We're getting pass breakups at the line of scrimmage, and I absolutely love that. Nonetheless, guys, the Houston Texans, they defeat the Tennessee Titans 16-13, game-winning field goal by Matt Wright. Now you're at 500. Now you get to have fun conversations. And one of the fun conversations is, can the Houston Texans go on a run? You have CJ Stroud coming back. You have Jalen Petrie coming back. You have Ed Ingram coming back. You have potentially Kaimi Fairbairn coming back. This is the opportunity for the Houston Texans and on prime time football to prove to the NFL world that they are legit and they have arrived to the party better late than never. Just a month ago, it felt like our season was over. But after a 0-3 start, the Houston Texans, when you look at it, when you look at the W's and L's, they're 5-2. And now you have an opportunity against a damn good football team, against the MVP Josh Allen, who looked horrible, by the way, against you last year in Houston. One of his only stains on his MVP campaign. And you get your quarterback back. It's going to be Battle Red Day. You know the stadium's going to be packed. This is just a huge moment, guys, for the Houston Texans. Now, they've had multiple times to prove themselves this year. The game against the Seattle Seahawks, you messed it up. The game against the Denver Broncos, you messed it up. Could third time be the charm? I cannot believe we're talking about the Houston Texans being back in the hunt, because that's what they are, guys. That's what they are. For more Houston Texans content, you guys let me know your thoughts and comments down below. But the Houston Texans are at 500. They're 3-1 in the division. The season's not over. It's only going to get crazier. I love you guys. Episode brought to you powered by Sleeper. Get a 100% match up to $100. Use promo code 713HOU. I love y'all. Have a very blessed day.